Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new special edition. I'm your host, Randy Perrin, with my lovely and beautiful co-host, April.
Hey.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I got a pop-up just now. Anyways, so we're doing this via Zoom today because we decided to do a open mic night type of thing to give people an opportunity to um, chime in and weigh in on their thoughts and everything else, and have their voices heard, their opinions heard, their thoughts heard, and everything else, and we can have an exchange and dialogue and everything else. So we're recording this live via Naples, Italy, and we will be uploading this onto our channel since we're not broadcasting live per se on the exceptionalconservativeshow.com. So we're just gonna sit here and chit chat for the next 3 hours. And why are you looking at that? This is a special event, April.
No, we are not chit chatting for 3 hours.
This is a special event. No commercials, no music, no breaks.
No.
It's just gonna be straight talk, no chaser. We're gonna get it in because the conversation needs to be had, America.
Okay, yeah. Well, I can't even talk to you for 3 hours regularly, let alone no.
So we're gonna be here for the next 3 hours, like I said. No, I'm just kidding, folks. I'm just kidding.
I never know with him, so
we're gonna broadcast, as normal, a 1 hour show. But seriously, there will be no breaks. There will be no commercials. There will be no music break or anything like that because this is being recorded via Zoom and not off of our regular software and going into the server and everything else. So this will be uploaded onto YouTube later on once we're done. Provided that a few people said they're going to come and join us, so maybe they're going to join in a little later. Give us a chance to get our banter out the way. I don't know. But either way, honey, how was your week?
Busy.
Yes.
Very
yes.
Busy.
Yeah, we had a busy week. Yeah.
Very
yes.
Very busy.
Yes. It was a busy week.
One thing that you guys may notice, if you tune into our shows quite frequently, is that there's a lot of stuff missing in our background.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been very busy. Very busy.
Yes. Yep.
Outside of that, then we had, just like the normal family stuff that goes on that you don't really ask for, but it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had to deal with that. Yeah, it's been quite a week. I can't believe the week is already up because it's been so much stuff going on. Yeah. I can't believe it's already Friday.
Yes, fantastic Friday. It is Friday indeed. And remember, everyone, Friday, I apologize, I'm not wearing red today, but I do have some red in my hat here. So it's remember, everyone, deployed Friday. Why are you looking at that? But no, seriously, it was. But no, seriously, remember, everyone, deployed Fridays. We try to honor those that are not at home with their loved ones and everything else. Out serving and defending our country, and even those currently right now that's standing on the front lines on the National Guard and the reserve components back in America with these riots and stuff going on. I'm not gonna call it protesting because it's not protesting. It's rioting and looting and anarchism going on right now. So I'm not gonna sit there and credit the chaos to protesting, because when you're protesting something, it's generally done peacefully and it's constructive. This is destructive, and it's just counterproductive to what the actual cause should have been about. So my hats off to those men and women doing their thing out there. But
and I'm glad you brought up that point, because it's very conflicting. And the reason why it's conflicting is because, on one hand, those soldiers were out there, basically they were extra bodies, which soldiers, let's face it, that's what you guys are. You're extra bodies, period. When we need 400,000 or 200,000 sent over to Iraq, then, I mean, I'm sorry, you guys are just bodies, okay? So I hate to put it that way. I thank you for your service. Everything that you do is great. But at the end of the day, that's how you're treated, as numbers. You guys are numbers. And so, you know, I understand that they needed more numbers, because if you look at it, the ratio from quote unquote protesters to law enforcement, I mean, it was so easy to be overrun by the protesters. They outnumbered them way,
Yeah, it was like 5-1 or something like that.
yeah, way too much. So I understand. And then, I mean, I understand also that the soldiers were strategically placed. It's not like they were walking up and down the street trying to enforce curfew. That's not what they were doing. What they were doing is they were standing guarding certain places, especially monuments, because I would have hated to see that, you know, like, let's say the Lincoln Memorial got destroyed. I would have hated to see that, all because of some stupid protest. Or the Washington Monument, would hate to see that that got destroyed because of protest. Now they did, and I really made my blood boil. They did deface some of the veterans' names, the people who died in war.
The veterans, not the veterans, the World War II Memorial,
yes,
or the Vietnam Memorial.
I believe it was the World War II Memorial. I'm not sure, but they did deface it, like they spray painted it, and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
They're lucky, you know. They got the right ones. They know what they can get away with out there and everything else. But I'm gonna tell you, if you had a bunch of vets that got together and got out there and said, you know, not on my watch type of thing, they would have had the right ones. They would have been like, so I mean, I get it, and I got it, and it goes to show that, you know, this the rioters and the looters, they hijacked this, what was supposed to start off as peaceful protesting. Now, granted, you have during the daytime, you have, you know, regular demonstrations, regular protesting that are peaceful, generally quiet, given the context, but they're not, you know, doing anything destructive or disrespectful. They're just out there, you know, voicing their opinions and thoughts and everything else, and that's all fine and good. That's protected within the First Amendment, and that's what you should be doing when you have a grievance against the government. But then nightfall comes, and it's some of the same, but there's also a new group of people that show up, and they are doing something totally different, and it takes away and detracts from the message that was sent earlier in that day, and it falls on deaf ears. And for the life of me, and I'm going to take it there, folks. I'm going to take it there today. For the life of me, I don't understand how is it possible that as African Americans, Black Americans, ADOS, whatever you want to categorize yourself as, if you are of a darker complexion, I don't understand for the life of me, how is it that you are allowing a group of people that are not related to the cause or not there for your cause to come into your neighborhoods and destroy everything, and you're co-signing on their mission of tearing down the communities, saying that they're there because we need a new government, you know, we need to be anti-police and all this stuff. I'd be like, whoa, player. This has that, what you got going on, and doesn't have anything to do with, number one, my neighborhood that you infiltrated into, and you're destroying my stuff. That's number one. Number two, what you're talking about has nothing to do with the issue that we're addressing, and that is the unlawful murder of, well, I just did a double negative there, but the murder of a person. I'm not gonna say they're innocent, I'm not gonna say they're guilty, but the murder of a person who was no threat by police. And you wanna, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Jump on, dovetail,
Bandwagon.
bandwagon jump. There you go. Bandwagon jump onto our cause so you can advance shores. And no, no, hell no. Mm-mm. Not on my watch, brother. No, sorry. You do that crap another day. Matter of fact, you can come back in 2 weeks because we're gonna be out here in a minute. So no. And so I've seen many videos and I got tagged in a lot of stuff that, was addressing that. And it was like, so there were literally Black people that were like okay with their communities getting destroyed by outside groups saying, well, this has to happen because, we need to send a message. But they're gonna go back, they're gonna get back in their bus, they're gonna get back in their car and go back to their little enclaves, and life is gonna be normal. But you're gonna be sitting there assed out and not have any resources, no jobs or anything else, and you're talking about you're okay with that. I'm utterly damn confused.
So, what I will say is this: whether or not Mr. Floyd was guilty of something or not, whether or not he was resisting arrest or not, that should not have resulted in his death.
Correct. I totally agree.
That's why we have the judicial system. It's the police's job or the cop's job to arrest the person that they think is doing wrongdoing. But it's up to the courts to decide, based off of the evidence, whether in fact they were actually doing wrongdoing, and then to give them their sentence. You don't get to just decide.
Be judge, jury, and executioner all in one.
On the spot. You don't get to do that. Okay, if that was the case, then we'd be living in that movie, like I think it's called Terminator.
No, Judge Dredd.
Okay, yes. When they would look and be like, nope, guilty, right then and there, they were done. Okay. So that's what I will have to say on that. He never had a chance to have his day in court. And, with that being said, I mean, whether he was Black or white, it doesn't even matter what color he was. That's just wrong for anyone not to be able to get their day in court. So I understand where they're coming from with that. Yes, it happens all too often with the Black race. And, I know people are coming out with these statistics saying, more whites are killed by cops than Blacks are. And I mean, first off, we have to statistically look at that because if you want to break it down, first off, it's disproportionate. And the reason why is because there are more whites in the United States than there are Blacks. So if you take that into consideration, and you take the amount of white people that are getting killed versus the amount of Black people that are getting killed, it's way disproportionate. We are getting killed at a much higher rate. So when people try and throw those statistics out there, no, that's a no.
What about Black on Black crime? So,
okay.
And those are great points, right? You're spot on with that too. Now, and I'm going to address that first, actually. And I'm gonna not address it, but I want to add to that, folks. You have to, like Avery just said, you have to consider there's 60%, 60 to 70-ish%, depending on how you want to categorize it, but non-Black people in the United States versus 14%. So naturally, just in a natural order of things, with numbers, the higher will yield a higher result. That's just natural. However, what you have to consider is the proportion, right? The proportionality of interactions between police officers to Blacks or to minorities, if you want to, we just lump everybody together, minorities to white people is much higher because minorities are actually targeted. And this is like not hidden secrets, folks. This is like well-known information, well-known data that African Americans particularly, but minorities in general, are targeted much more or much higher than whites are.
Once again, I
So
think that that's an area thing.
it is
It's
an
an
area
area
thing.
thing.
It is an area thing, but it also,
Because-
but it feeds into, if you look at it,
But no,
it
no,
feeds
because
into those numbers as to the result of
okay,
those
it may feed
deaths.
into those numbers, but
Mhm.
that's an area thing because I know that there's several poor white areas
Yeah.
that are patrolled by white
Mhm.
cops,
Mhm.
and they go in there knowing the same thing as if they
Those
went into
getting
a
the
black
same
area,
results. Yeah.
and
Mhm.
they go
No,
in there
I
and
agree.
they're roughing them up
Yeah.
and everything else.
Killing them too. Yeah.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, when people want to throw numbers out there, you have to be careful. And remember, numbers is my thing. You have to be careful when you throw numbers out there because it can be so misleading. Just like, they say majority of the black population is majority of the black men are in jail. Once again, you have to consider the entire population. So those numbers that they throw out to you, no, it's not most black people that are in the jails. So mainly white people that are in jails. But because we make up such a small number of the population, the numbers are skewed to make it seem like majority of the black people are in jail because you have to figure if they say, well, there's only 20% of the white population in jail, but there's 35% of the black population in jail. In all actuality, that 20% of the white population could be 10,000 people, whereas that 35% or 30%, like I said, could only be 5,000 people. It just depends. You have to be careful when people start throwing numbers out there. That's the way that they like to confuse you.
Mhm.
Okay? I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying you have to be careful. That's why Randy and I always say it's up to you to educate yourself. It's up to you to educate yourself. And you have to see through all of the rigmarole that they throw out in front of you to skew
Yeah.
your perception of things.
Mhm.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, the situation was horrible, but I believe the situation has been escalated on purpose. Okay, situation was horrible. Don't get me wrong, and I believe the people in that area, they had every right to protest and be mad or whatever it happened in their community. I believe that. But then you had some people that jumped on the bandwagon and was like, ooh,
Opportunity.
we can take advantage of this.
Yeah.
Okay? Because there's no reason. There's no reason. You have to ask yourself.
And people, and not to cut you off.
Done.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but I'm just going to
But you
say,
did.
yeah, no, I did.
So you have
Go
to
ahead.
ask yourself. You have to ask yourself, really, out of all this time that we've been the United States of America, do you not think it's odd that there were riots and protests in all 50 states? That seems a little bit coordinated. Just a little bit. I'm just
Is
throwing
it
out
all
there.
56 now?
It's been all 50 states. There's been protests and riots in all 50 states. Yep.
Okay. But to add to that, excuse me.
You're talking about going for 3 hours.
That came out of nowhere. Excuse me. But no, to add to that though, we have to look at people that are talking about, they're okay with the rioting, they're okay with the looting. I want to address that. Not so much the protesting. Protesting, we all are on board with that. Everybody's in agreement with, okay, that's cool.
Well, no, I'm not even okay with the protesting. You want to know why I'm not okay with the protesting? It's because there's no end game. There is no end game.
Okay, now protesting in terms of actually getting results. Okay, I got that. But I'm talking about, actually assembling and voicing your opinion. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is, like I said, you have these fringe groups and these other outsiders that are infiltrating into these protests, and they're creating this havoc, and no one is stopping to say, hey, what are y'all doing? What's going on? Now it's starting to come out, since it's been going on for 10 days now. It's starting to come out that there are other things underlying, agendas being displayed, right now and everything else. But more so that I am really, really baffled about is the justification by some people that are okay with the destruction that's going on. They're like, Well, we're just frustrated. It just got to that point. Okay, you can be frustrated. It gets to that point. Got it. But
So wait a minute. So
you're ad
frustrated.
hocking,
Wait,
you're
wait,
ad libbing,
wait,
you're
wait.
ad libbing
I have a
on.
question. So because you're frustrated, if you have a kid, does that make it okay for you to throw your kid around or beat your kid?
Well, depends.
Because basically these businesses are your kids because they're in your community and they are what keeps your livelihood going. So basically these are your children and you're destroying them.
But somebody actually, a few people actually said, that's okay. It doesn't matter. They can rebuild. They got insurance. They'll be all right.
Why would they?
Exactly. Why would they? How do you know that? How do you know the frame of mind of a person
and not only
or a
that,
business?
We just got done with the whole quarantine, which we're not really completely done. So
that's still going on?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but
okay.
Apparently no one is practicing that. I mean, if anything, why would they rebuild? You don't know, especially with these small businesses. You don't know if they have the capabilities to rebuild. They may have insurance money, but they may also have a lot of bills because they were closed down for the last 3 months. You don't know what their capabilities are and whether or not they're going to choose to put their money back into your community when you've already shown them your ass. And that's basically what you did. You've shown them your ass.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
I agree.
It blows my mind. It really blows my mind.
I agree. It's crazy because I actually saw some well, not saw, but talking to some people that they were like, because of the whole COVID thing, because of the shutdown that was going on and all that, there were some business owners actually taking advantage of the situation as well, going and torching their own place. They're like, nah, I can't afford to open back up. I can't afford to bring back my employees and everything else. Much rather let the customers, the employees get unemployment. I collect the insurance money. If I get insurance money, even I may get some kind of restitutional damage, compensation from the rioting from the city type of thing. But outside of that, it's not worth the effort at this point. So take the little chunk change you get, go fishing for a few months and call it a day. And some people are doing that as well. And so it's a cataclysmic microcosms going on out there. And it's a huge onion. It's like the blooming onion from Texas Roadhouse. It's just like layers and layers and layers that you have to peel back, and you still won't get to the center.
But there doesn't have to be all these layers because, okay, they started off justice for George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There were 4 arrests made. Now what's the problem?
They want a conviction.
Now, okay, but we all know to get a conviction, that's going to take probably a couple months. That's not overnight. You don't go to court, you don't get arrested and then go to court overnight. No, you go to jail. They have a chance to build up their case against you, just like your attorney has a chance to build up the case to say that you're innocent or whatever. So it doesn't happen overnight. So are they going to protest until that happens? Because that can go on for a long time, especially since police officers are involved. So that
this
can
is
go
a
on
new
for a
this is a
long
new
time.
This is a new level of street justice.
Yeah, well, but I don't
pressure the system to move faster.
Well, I don't think they actually get it. I don't think that
no, they don't.
Get it.
They don't get it, and that's the thing. We have to understand something, ladies and gentlemen. You're pressing an issue. You're forcing the government at whatever level. It doesn't matter. You're forcing the government to react and respond to demands when there's this pesky thing called a constitution, and within a constitution is this thing called due process. You have that to contend with, okay? And within the due process clause amendments, you have to allow the time to make sure that both the defendant and the victims have the opportunity to defend or accuse the other party and present a case and let the jury decide and all this stuff, and the judgments to be rendered accordingly and properly within the respects of the
Jury
law.
selection can take
Months.
just for jury selection.
Yeah,
okay?
and I'm glad you mentioned that. Given the jury selection, given the uproar that's been created in America right now, that's going to be hard to find an impartial juror.
And so that's why I honestly think that they're going to end up finding a loophole and getting off, because they're going to say, we didn't have a fair case.
Yep.
And there's no way that they, even though we watched the video and we saw it with our own eyes, everyone has a right to, like Randy said, due process. And there's no way that these gentlemen can get a fair case, because there's no impartial person. And even if they move the venue, it doesn't matter, because everyone knows what's going on. There's no way they can get a fair case. There's no way.
Unless they take it overseas.
No, because they're rioting here too.
Yeah, they are, and that's another good thing. Another point, they're rioting overseas as well. So I'm really like at
They're
odds.
not gonna get a fair case.
I'm at odds on that one. I'm like, why are y'all doing this?
They're not gonna get a fair case. But what I will say is this: because of such the public outroar that has happened, I do believe that they are strongly going to move to convict, whether or not it's fair or not. They're gonna do their best.
Yep.
So then everyone's gonna be happy because they got convicted, until they appeal, and they're gonna go through the chain of courts, and then eventually it's gonna come out, well, we agree they never had a fair case. Time served, and they're off. I mean, that's just, I don't know, that's just the way it goes. It's unfortunate, but that's how it happens.
Very true.
Another thing that I wanted to bring to light is that there was this chief of police in Palo County, Florida. Something that starts with a P, I don't know. Anyway, he told the protesters, rioters, whatever, he said, see, my county, we are gun friendly. We all have guns. We all have ammunition, and you can bring that to my county if you want to. I am fully supporting any person who, if they feel that they're in danger and you try and break into their home, they need to shoot you out. And I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. But had President Trump said that, which he said something similar, then it would have been like, whoa, oh my gosh. But this guy, he was glorified. He was like, they're like, yeah, he's tough, whatever. And I'm just like, huh.
There is a double standard. There is a double standard out there. And I'm fully in support of that. At the end of the day, you're exercising your Second Amendment rights. That is the purpose of the Second Amendment. It's to defend yourself and to defend against the uprising of a government, against the people. But in this case, it is the opposite. It is the uprising of the people against the people and the government. So it's been, indiscriminate killings going on. Excuse me, I am like, my eyes are watering. I am like so sleepy. I don't know what the heck is going on. But there's been indiscriminate killings going on. There's been attacks on innocent people going on. Businesses are being attacked. Neighborhoods are being destroyed and everything else. So at some point in time, as it bleeds over from, and I hate to say this, and I had already proven this to be true, as this bleeds over from these Democrat, stronghold cities, and it starts going out to those Republican-led, little areas where they are gun-friendly, like the sheriff says, where they are a little bit more.
I think I sent it to you so we can know the actual
Okay,
county.
Where they are a little less hesitant to, be considerate of your feelings, you're gonna find yourself getting jacked up. So,
and remember, this no longer has anything to do with George Floyd.
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone beyond George Floyd. It's gone beyond racism at this point also, because there is mixed crowds doing this. So we can't say, oh, it's just a predominantly blacks. No, we can't say it. We can't say it's predominantly whites. It's a mixed crowd. It's literally
I
a
can
mix.
say that on the news, a lot of the crowds that I see are majority white.
Yeah, it's grown to that. That is true.
It didn't start off that way.
Correct.
But now that's what it is. Now, you know, I always throw a little humor in there. So here's my humor for this, which is not a humorous subject, but here is my humor for this. I know that we just came back from a shutdown. Why aren't these protesters and rioters at work? That's all I want to say. And I also want to say that maybe giving everyone that $1,200 stimulus check was a bad idea because they had the money and nowhere to spend it. And so now that they're finally able to go out of the house, they have the money to support themselves for, I don't know, I guess a couple days. I don't know how far $1,200 will get you. I don't even know. But now they have the money, and then now you're taking all of these people, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, a lot of government agencies and lawmakers. You are dealing with a whole bunch of people who are frustrated, who are depressed. They've been on lockdown. They haven't been able to work. They've been stuck in a house with their kids, their family, their moms, their dads, whoever. They've been stuck in the house for the last, let's say, 2 to 3 months. They're frustrated. So they're happy to get out. They're happy to get out and do something, anything, even if it's destructive. They're just happy to get out and do something. Unfortunately, it wasn't something positive, but they're happy to get out. So you're dealing with that kind of mentality of people who's been locked up. It's like someone who's been in jail, but they're a repeat offender. As soon as you let them out, they go and commit a crime because they're so happy to be out. What can I get into first? I think it's the same mentality. And, you know, I hate to say it, but the Dixiecrats want you that way.
Oh, wow.
They want you that way.
She went way back.
They want you that way because as long as you need them, or they're saying, hey, we're supporting you, and hey, they have a right to do this, and whatever. As long as you're doing this stuff, they think that they have the upper hand because, oh, we can get in, and oh, we're supporting them, and they're going to see that this is the way that they need to vote, and they need to be on our side. First off, no one cares about you. I just hate to say it, putting it out there. They don't care. What they do care about is that this is an election year. And all of this, because I promise you, if it wasn't them going against the Republicans, if they were just working together, you guys, they wouldn't still be protesting in the street. They wouldn't be protesting in the street. It's gone on too long, way too long. Day 1, day 2, maybe day 3. After that, you're done. You made your point. You made your point. Either you made your point or you didn't. Doesn't matter. It's done. It's over. But they keep perpetuating this because they know it's an election year. And as soon as if they keep saying this, then they can keep trying to place blame back on Donald Trump. He's divisive. He may be divisive. I don't know.
But it's your choice to. It's your choice to. Yes, but yeah, people talk about something. He's being divisive and everything else. But I mean, like, are you that slow? Are you that stupid? Are you that emotionally driven mentally that you're allowing somebody to drive how you react and respond?
But why, if I'm the president of the country, why would I let my country be in uproar for all these days?
True.
So I'm going to do what it is I need to do.
I agree.
To regain
control. Yep. That too.
Period.
That too. But
that's
it. I get really sick and tired of seeing people be a little bitch about it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. You know, they're like, oh, the president's being divisive and he's saying mean stuff and it hurts my feelings. Like, are you serious right now? Are we in kindergarten here? Like, what are we doing? Like, you are allowing the words, maybe even some actions. Not really, because it's the federal level. You're just a minion on the streets at the end of the day. That's how we all are. Unless you're in that position or in that, close to that kind of authoritative figure, he doesn't affect you like that. So why are people reacting and responding to what he says as if it actually makes a difference in your personal life? It's just like it mind blows. It mind blows.
But here's the thing that you guys don't get. Back to the Dixiecrats, and that's
she went
either
back
they're
to the
Democrats,
60s.
either they're Democrats
She
or
went back to the
Dixiecrats,
60s.
whatever.
She went back to the 60s on y'all.
Anyway, the point is this: back to them. What you don't understand is Donald Trump pushed for the country to reopen, and although people were saying, "Hey, it's too soon. It's too soon," as he said, people need to get back to their livelihood. People need to make money. People need to go back to work. We need to get the economy started again, okay? Remember, he's a businessman. So he sees that if we continue with this whole quarantine thing, we're gonna fall off anyway, okay? So he's pushing for that. It was the Democrats that were like, no, it's too soon. No, everyone needs to stay on lockdown. No, you don't understand, because the coronavirus and whatever else. Okay, why do they want you to stay at home? That's the question you should ask yourself. Because I bet you this, none of the lawmakers were affected by that. They all have money. So the people who have money weren't affected by it. They don't care if you go back to work or not because they have that kind of money to sustain themselves, okay? They don't care. If I'm a millionaire, I don't care if you go back to work because I'm fine. My family's fine. My businesses are fine, okay? So you have to ask yourself, like they put you in a poorer position than you already were. Think about that. If your position was already not so good, they put you in an even worse position. And your president was just like, okay, no, let these people go back to their livelihood. Let these people go back and make money. Let these people, or as someone said to me, why does he refer to the blacks? Let the blacks, whatever word he used. The point
The
is,
Hispanics, the Chinese,
whatever words he used.
China.
The point is, he saw the need for everyone to get back to business as usual.
And,
okay.
And the funny part is,
And then, do you know that they're trying to do another stimulus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The funny
why
part,
would I give more money?
Yeah.
If I was the president, why would I give more money for?
Not. Nah. Nix. Nope.
And the Democrats did not invite one Republican to help draft this bill.
I'd be like, nope. I'm like, all those folks that got those Jordans and those drones and and whatever else that they looted, they better figure it out. They're going to a bartering system. At the end of the day, nope.
Well,
veto.
I saw one thing that said, we see everyone has their Christmas shopping done early.
True.
Well, not me.
But on that note, though. We're talking about that, this whole thing is stemming from racism, police brutality towards George Floyd and everything. And Candace Owens, she's catching a storm. She caught bad weather this weekend. This week, I think it was the day before yesterday. She went on to her little rant as usual, stirring the pot. And that's why I love her, because she's just zero. She's just like, she doesn't care.
Sometimes she's spot on, but
sometimes she's not. And with this one,
she said a lot of great things, but she also said some things that I was just like,
yeah,
so
and
much.
Right, and so
but we have to remember she's young.
She is young, but there's some things she said, and I did a video last night, largely supporting. I'm like, she is correct. However, there is an element that feeds all of that. And we cannot simply just ignore that element. And that element is the 400 years of different systems that's been traditionally against the Black community. And that helped cultivate the lifestyles that we have today. That help cultivate also the conditions, the mental condition, the mindsets that we have. You know, largely, not everyone, largely.
If you were raised not to steal, and it
Mhm.
doesn't matter what century this is in,
Correct.
you're raised stealing is wrong,
Mhm.
then stealing is wrong, is wrong, is wrong.
I agree,
Looting is
100%.
stealing.
Mhm.
It's
But then you have,
wrong.
excuse me.
So you mean that they
I'm
weren't
going from
raised right?
yawning to belching. No,
So you mean they weren't raised right?
no.
Well, obviously,
Some.
because stealing is wrong. We
Some.
agree on that.
No, yes, some.
So then
No,
some
that's,
people it's okay for some people to steal?
yes.
Okay, who is it okay? That
is what I'm getting at.
Okay, well, let's hurry up and get there, because it's not okay for anyone to steal.
No, it's not okay. But
But
some
it's
people,
okay for some people.
some people were not raised with that moral
Compass.
installation. Yeah, that compass instilled into them that stealing is wrong. It's like they were raised with, you better go out there and get what you can because we need to survive. And that's part of the construct that a lot of these communities are in. I'm not going to just relegate it to Black communities. These are like just different, the poorer communities across America, but it's more pointedly towards the Black communities.
So what you're saying is they weren't raised right. That's what I just said.
Okay,
Because
we can say that they weren't raised right.
So
yeah.
if they were raised, you
fine.
need to just go out and get what it is that you can. So then you're saying that they weren't raised right.
Correct.
Okay. You know what?
I will bite that.
Okay. Well, what I will also say is that some people are just bad through and through. No matter how you try to teach them, no matter how you try and raise them, they're just gonna do what it is that they want to do.
I agree. I agree with that also.
So
I agree.
It's not totally a complete reflection on the way that they were raised.
Some people are just rotten like that. But it also goes back to, you know, the way systems are set up against those communities as well. And it kind of cultivates that mindset once again. I'm not saying all people.
What do you mean by against?
Well, you got, when you relegate a group of people, say you're gonna live here, you cannot live across the street. You cannot go to this person's backyard. You're gonna live right here for all your days, all your natural living days. And no, you're not gonna get a job. You're not gonna do this. We're gonna provide you exactly what you need.
Yeah,
actually, in a lot of places, yes.
Where is it written?
Yes, it was.
It
yes.
was, but I'm talking about today.
But today, they're still implementing some of those ideologies and some of those policies in a different manner.
Okay, and so as I've told other people, if you don't like it,
leave.
Move.
Yes, but some people
It's
can't have.
No, you can.
Hold on,
there is no such thing as can't.
No, you're right. It's not a can't, but you can't sit there and tell somebody that they need to just up and move when they have no means to do so. That is what I'm saying.
You can.
Some people.
And no.
Some people.
You can. And the reason why I say that you can is because understand at one point in time, my mom wasn't doing very well at all. And she was a single parent and she had her children, me and my sister.
Excellent is that.
Leave me alone. She had her children, me and my sister, and she didn't like the area that we lived in. So much so that she said, no, I have to get my kids out of here because it was a bad area. They were in East Orange, New Jersey. And she was like, no, I have to get my kids out of here. So she up and moved us with nothing, and took us all the way to Arizona.
How?
With nothing.
How?
She got there, she went straight to a women's shelter.
How?
On the bus.
How?
What do you mean, how?
How's she on the bus with y'all?
She saved up for months, putting a little bit of money away for months, and then she got on the bus with nothing.
What do you say?
And went to a homeless shelter.
What do you say to the people who don't have the opportunity?
They do. You can put $5 away.
Wait, April, listen. Hear me out here, because this is we're almost out of time, but this is something that we need to address also, is the assumption that people have the capability.
They do.
No, you cannot make an
If
assumption.
you are living day to day,
You can't make that
if
assumption.
you are living day to day,
You can't make
and I
that
don't
assumption.
care if you're on government assistance. If you're on government assistance and you get, what is it called? Food stamps
You
and
can't make
what
the
is
assumption
the
that
other
they
thing called? Food stamps and cash, the cash benefit. If you
s-
welfare.
yeah,
Well, whatever. Anyway, so if you get both of those, you can make it up in your mind. You know what? I want to change for my children. So it doesn't matter if it takes you a year. It doesn't matter if it takes you 2 years. You can make that in your mind.
What
and
do you say to the people that don't get those things? They get nothing. They have nothing.
So do they have a job?
No, they have
So
nothing.
then how are they
Nothing.
living?
April, some people live in an abandoned building. Some people are just homeless altogether. This is what I'm saying. This is why.
Then collect your money off the street and put a portion to the side.
Really?
Yeah.
Some
Go
people,
to a homeless
some
shelter.
people, some people don't have that mentality. That quarter that they found on the street, they may be saving up to get a sandwich for tonight. These are the realities that we as society have to
You
face.
can live for 7 days without food. I just want to let you know.
Not everybody can. I can't go a whole day without eating. I can barely go a few hours without eating. I start getting a headache and I get grouchy. But that's what I'm saying, is that we as, people that are, I'm not gonna say well-to-do, but people that are doing well in life, we come under these assumptions that you could just do it too. What's your problem?
Okay,
And-
so you mean,
let's
back this up. No, let's back this up.
the case.
No, because I'm not going to let you make a freaking excuse for them.
I'm not making an excuse.
No,
It's
you
just the
are. You
reality.
want to know why? Because guess what?
It's
Those
reality.
same people
Mhm.
have their kids in freaking Jordans. Those same people
Not
are,
all of them.
no,
Not
not
all of
maybe
them.
not all of them, but guess what? Those same people are eating out. Those same people
Not all
are,
of them.
yeah, well, majority of them are. They're
No,
eating
can't
it.
say
Well,
majority.
okay, well, whatever. Majority of them, they're eating out. They have their kids in freaking Jordans. They have the new iPhones and whatever else. Okay, understand. You are totally missing the point of the game of life. Okay, because and maybe you guys never had the chance to play the game of life, which I think everybody should play. The game of life and Monopoly. Those are two games that are very fundamental to an adult, period. The game of life, guess what? Throws shit at you, period. The game of life, you can be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to college. Oh, all of a sudden I had a kid. No, I didn't want a kid. Oh, now I gotta pay. The game of life is awesome, okay? It teaches you not everything goes your way and you need to budget. That's the game of life.
I agree.
Okay?
I concur.
Monopoly teaches you need real estate. If you want to get ahead, you need real estate. So
What do you say? What do you say? What do you say to those people that don't even have the mentality?
They should play the game of life.
Stop. Let me finish. What do you say to the people that don't have the mentality to even buy, to play the game of life or Monopoly? What do you say to the people that don't have the mentality or the will even to even sit down and listen to strategies and ways to get ahead in life, because this living in the destitute, ran down neighborhood is all they know, and they're afraid or they lack the skill set to.
Okay, so you don't want to know my answer.
So
you don't want to know my answer because my
we have
answer
to
is this.
consider
Guess
that.
what?
We
No,
have to consider
my
that.
answer is
We
this.
have to have that
My
conversation.
answer is this. They should burn down all the poor neighborhoods. Let them go and figure it out. Let them go and figure it out, because obviously you guys aren't happy with what you have. You're obviously unhappy with what you have, which is being subsidized by the government, which is taxpayers' dollars. So obviously you're so unhappy with what you have. All right, burn that shit down, go find somewhere else, and no, we're not helping you. That's the way that I feel.
Okay.
Period. You want to be ungrateful? Be ungrateful. Yeah, ungrateful. Ungrateful.
That's an interesting word.
It's ungrateful.
Why is that ungrateful?
It's ungrateful because you're destroying your own stuff, but you won't destroy your house. No, you won't destroy the projects. That's where you guys are living. You're not destroying that, but you will go out and go downtown and destroy. So no, all right, fine. You want to, and like I said, good thing that I'm not in power, because if I was, I'd be like, oh, okay, they want to riot and burn some stuff up over here in our shopping district and where we make money and we actually generate revenue for the city, where when people come in, tourists, they come in and they come to this area and they do shopping. This area brings money into the city. You want to do that? Okay, so we're done with your area, because at the end of the day, your area does no good for us. It does no good for us. So I'm sorry. And if you keep pushing people out, then maybe they'll get a clue and start doing things the right way. I'm very extreme, people. I'm very extreme. What did you say?
Folks, that is all the time we have left. Unfortunately, this was fun.
No one joined in with us.
No, they didn't. No one joined in on our Zoom, and that's okay, because then, you know, when they sit there and say, "Oh, let's debate, let's talk about this," I'm providing a platform and providing an opportunity. You just got to show up. Once again, not everybody's able. You know, and that's the angle that I'm taking with a lot of this. And April, you're totally right about what you're saying. Well, not totally. I agree largely with what you're saying. But
all I'm saying is that there's first order, second order, and third order effects of everything that happens.
Yes, I agree.
And before you, like, seriously, when your food stamps get cut, or your welfare check gets cut, but because now the city had to go back in and rebudget because everything was burned down and now they have to rebuild and they have other things to do, then don't look crazy, because you did it to yourself.
So, yeah,
you did it to yourself.
When you're out.
And I'm not and don't get me wrong, I'm not against anyone. I'm not against any particular people at all. But I am against crime, totally against crime. And I'm totally against people who think that they are better than. And when I say that, I mean that they don't have to abide by the law. And it doesn't matter if you're black or white or whatever color you are. There are people out there that believe that they don't have to abide by the law, whether it's the police who feel like they're above the law, or whether it's criminals who feel like they don't have to abide by the law. I'm totally against that, because the law should be equal for everyone across the board, no matter your status, no matter your financial status, no matter where you work at, where you live at. The law should be fair and equal across the board. And until we get that, we're never going to live in a perfect nation. Got it. But do we destroy that nation? By destroying that nation, are we moving closer towards equality?
Nope. What is equality? Stay tuned next week for that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. Well, no, you didn't tune in, because no one's here, just us talking. So screw you all for not tuning in. How about that? No, but you can check us out on Twitter at @OurFirm. You can go to our homepage, theexceptionalconservativeshow.com, where we'll probably just return back to, and we'll probably never do another one of these Zooms again, since no one wants to join in. Although we had a couple people that RSVP'd and said that they were going to join in, but they never did. That's okay. I guess, things happen. Maybe the riots cut the power to the United States, for all we know. We don't know. We're here. So, but
anyway, even broadcasting.
Yeah. So, so it is what it is, folks. It's okay. It's all good. No feelings hurt. No harm, no foul.
I knew I should have went Facebook Live at the same time.
Yeah, we should have. But anyways, we'll talk to y'all later. Maybe Monday. Maybe. We'll see what's going on. We'll see. But other than that, Friday, maybe. We'll see. But take care. God bless you all. And we will see you all next week.
All right. God bless.